Hello and welcome. My name is Tommy, and today my dog and I are going to be reviewing the Razer Viper. So without further ado, let's dive in. Let's move on over to the specs of this guy on why you even want to buy it. So the first thing is it's got the Razer 5G advanced optical sensor with true 16,000 DPI. What that means is that it's one of your top of the line sensors. You're not going to go wrong with it. I'm not going to go super in depth. It comes with 450 inches per second IPS, and it's got 50 G of acceleration. If you're going past that, you're a monster, and I'm terrified of you. Moving on, it's got 1000 hertz ultra polling. You can also do 125 and 500 hertz. Moving on, it has the Razer optical mouse switches with 70 million clicks. What that means is that they actually have a new type of switch that I hope other people might actually adopt, because I'm a really big fan of it for two reasons. One, because input latency is almost non-existent on these guys. It is super fast, and you can realize it when you're actually gaming. That could be placebo for me, but I definitely noticed that this mouse is very, very responsive. One, from the sensor itself, and two, from the switches. The other thing is that it's completely fixed the double click issue, because there's no actual, like, the switch itself, it's impossible to double click on it without you wanting to double click. So if you've had a double click issue in the past and you're over it, buy this mouse, because it's going to fix it. It's got the speed flex cable. So really what that means is it's a paracord, but it already comes installed on the mouse. The thing that made that really popular starting to come on the mouse itself was Final Mouse with theirs. Did it. It's just as good. It's a little bit thinner, which is also nice. That cable itself is also 2.1 meters or 6.89 feet. So you've got plenty of clearance to wrap it wherever you want to go. It's got a gamer grade tactile scroll wheel. So, that's kind of a ridiculous marketing term. Anyways, if you've ever tried a Razer scroll wheel before, that's what it feels like. However, this scroll wheel is ideal. The clicks themselves are absolutely fantastic. They're very easy to get to and very in your face of when you've actually done it. The middle mouse click too requires kind of moderate pressure. It's going to be very similar to your Logitech G Pro amount, just a little bit less. So like I said, scroll wheel is ideal for the majority of people, just based off of reviews that I've seen. Most people are going to really like the scroll wheel. It's also hollowed out. It is also 69 grams, so it's right there in competition with the original ultralight Final Mouse. And it's also right up there with the glorious Model O and such things. However, the big difference is that there's no actual dimples or cutouts or anything in this like there is for the Final Mouse, which is a good or a bad thing. I actually really like this design because it gives me a lot better grip, whereas on this one, they actually just put rubberized sides that are a little hard to see because my camera is not super high quality. It's got Razer Chroma. In my opinion, Razer has the best chroma out there. It comes in 16.8 million customizable colors. However, I'm a little bit disappointed. One thing that is nice is I have the lighting off right now. You can't see the logo, so let me go turn on that lighting. Where when you actually turn on the lighting, you can actually see the Ouroboros logo. However, it's not super bright and in your face. It's still pretty good, especially for Razer. However, it's not up to their same quality. In my opinion, I was left a little lacking, but it's going to be way better than the competition in general. It's also got 8 buttons, so you've got your left and right click, you've got your middle click, you've got your left and right, and your other left and right. And then you've got your DPI button on the bottom. It's also got onboard DPI up to 5 stages. That's that little button on the bottom. What's nice too is when you press this button, it changes the light colors. You also get a notification on your screen of what your DPI is, so that's pretty awesome. The approximate size I'm going to throw up on the screen right now. I would say it's a medium to large mouse. The approximate weight, once again, is 69 grams. And other than that, we've gone through all of the specs. So, to keep this review nice and short, the other thing that I do want to discuss really quick is the hump itself is going to be very small. This mouse is mostly made for people that have claw or fingertip grip. That the buttons on the side here that you press with your thumb are also going to be ideal for your fingertip grip type people. If you've got a palm, it's going to be a little difficult. The bottom of your hand right here is also probably going to rub on your mouse pad, so that's something to keep in mind. Moving on to the other aspect of it is it's very well put together. Even though it's light, it feels cheap because it's light. However, when you get to, and the like coating that they used makes it feel really cheap as well. However, when you actually try to squeeze the mouse itself, there's no give anywhere, and when you actually press all of the buttons, it has a very good premium feel to the buttons. For the left and right click, they are going to be, I would say, medium amount of pressure down. It also gives you a very nice, satisfying click to the feel, and it is a very loud click. For example, here's a Logitech G Pro wireless click. And here is the Razer's. I don't know if you can hear that difference, but in my ears, in real life, it sounds, there's a huge difference. It's probably 2 to 3 times as loud. Talking about the side buttons themselves, they're also recessed. So for example, when you look at the Logitech G Pro on the side here, how you can actually see the buttons. When you do that for this guy, you can't actually see any buttons are there. That's actually by design because it's ambidextrous. It's one of those, they don't want you accidentally clicking your button with your 4th digit over here. So they made it flush, so it makes it really difficult. There were a few times when I was gaming and that I did accidentally click that button, but that was usually because my mouse was in, or my hand was in a really awkward position while I was trying to do something. You can also disable those buttons in the software to make it so even if you do press it, it doesn't actually matter. When I'm talking to the side buttons, I want to say that's the part that I dislike the most about it. I think they nailed the scroll wheel. I think they nailed left and right click. However, their side buttons, I understand why they're designed they are, but I'm not a big fan of it. They take, I would say, high pressure, and I'm not saying like high pressure like where you're like really having to press, but in comparison to any other mouse that I've tried, which includes the G903 or the 900, the Logitech G305, the Logitech G Pro wireless. Obviously, I'm a fan of Logitech, and the Final Mouse Pro. I've also tried like Steel Series. I've tried a stupid amount of mice. The side clicks are heavy in comparison to any of the other mice. Could be a pro, could be a con. That's totally up to you. It's a very satisfying click. I don't think there's anything cheap about the button itself. Just a little more stiff than I like it, but the reason why it's a little more stiff is so you don't misclick it depending on if you're left or right-handed. As for the shape itself, it's going to be very similar to the Logitech G Pro or the Final Mouse or your Zowies. It's got the same kind of indent sides and everything like that. If you're looking for more specifics on that, I recommend you going and seeing Rocket Jump Ninja's review video because he goes over that more than I will. All right, so let's talk about the pros. Shape, weight, and size. The cable itself is excellent, makes it feel wireless. The scroll wheel itself, in my opinion, is going to be ideal for the majority of people. The left and right click are fantastic due to them having the optical mouse switches, which means that you can't have any double clicking, and it also greatly reduces input lag. It makes it very, very competitive where it feels super responsive. I know for me, unless if it's placebo, I definitely felt that it was a lot faster. However, when I was doing the testing itself, it was about as fast as any of the Logitech mice that I used, specifically the G Pro wireless. Due to the rubberized sides, it's one of those that I usually have really good grip. It is mostly made for fingertip or claw people, not so much for palm, unless if you have a smaller hand or you don't mind your palm actually rubbing against the cloth itself. Let's talk about the negatives really quick. It comes with just your normal type of feet on the bottom, which I'm not a big fan of, especially these days that everybody's coming out with like hyperglide skates and stuff like that that make it a lot smoother. That mileage will vary here based on personal preference. It's not bad, but I don't think it's great either. It's smack dab right in the middle of quality. If you're one of those people that you really like hyperglides, it's going to be rougher than that. If you're one of those people that want something that's super rough, then this is going to be lighter than that. So it's like right in the middle. It's not bad. It's not great. Most people, if that's not something that you've had a problem with, you're not going to notice it. Also, the coating on it, I wasn't a big fan of because it makes it feel kind of cheap, but for the most part, the grip is still there, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so this is the Razer Software. It's very complicated when you first look at it because it's got a lot going on, and I understand that, but we are just going to click right over into the Razer Viper itself and go from there because it's not that complicated once you do that. So here are all the buttons. You can also do specifically scroll up and scroll down. So if you click one of the buttons, it opens this list over on the left. The main thing that I want to talk about right here is Razer Hypershift. So say I do mouse button 5 and I select Razer Hypershift. When I click this button, it goes into the Hypershift. So it goes from 8 buttons to 16 buttons. So if you're one of those that you were concerned about not having enough buttons, if you activate the Hypershift through another button, it's one of those. It essentially doubles the amount of buttons that you can use. So that's a good thing. On the bottom here, you have if you want it left or right-handed. If we go over to performance, here's your sensitivity. Anywhere from 1 to 5, you can choose, all going up to 2. And it is going anywhere from 100 DPI to 16,000 DPI in increments of 50. You can also enable X and Y. And then if you turn off sensitivity stages, you can just have one sensitivity if that's what you so wish. I don't think you can actually change the colors for these, which I don't think is really a big deal because I think they chose good colors. I like 800 DPI, so we're going to go over that. If you look at the polling rate, there's 1,500 and 125. If you click open mouse properties, it immediately does that. You want to disable enhance pointer precision to make sure it's right in the middle for the best performance. Going over into lighting, you can turn the brightness on or off immediately that way, or you can choose a certain percentage there. For switch off lighting, what's nice is when the display is turned off, so say you turn off your computer or you put it to sleep, it'll turn off the mouse. And then also if it's idle for X amount of minutes, you can also turn it off. You can do quick effects or advanced effects. I have advanced effects. It's one of those that I prefer that. And here you can see all the different types of effects that I've already made or profiles that I've made. And what's nice is that this is actually saved under my profile. So if you go up to the profile, it saves up to the cloud. So say you go over to your friend's house. It's one of those that the moment you log in, it'll download and sync your profiles to the keyboard. And I really like that. IQ, Corsair, you really need to get on that because this is such a good feature. It should be across the board, especially with how popular cloud gaming is. Also, just with people going to LAN tournaments and everything like this, this would be so helpful so you don't have to upload your own things. Going into the actual lighting itself, I hate this. This is super complicated. I'm not going to make a video about this because it'd be way too long if I focused on it on this video. So we're going to move over to just the mouse itself, which is over here on the side. So if I highlight it, it highlights the zone, and then I can pick whatever color I want. And then if you can also choose your own color if you don't want one of the pre-chosen ones, and then you go down and you click save. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to save it. Moving over to calibration, you can also calibrate it according to your mouse pad. So it's got all the bells and whistles that you possibly want. If I had to rank it, it's one of those. The Logitech G Pro Wireless is still my #1 mouse. I absolutely love this guy. I've had a very hard time getting rid of it. I do really think the Final mouse is a good mouse. This one hurts me to say, but due to the lightness, it makes a big difference. So I'm a pretty big fan of this one as well. And since I own both of those mice, and because they were so darn expensive, I don't have the heart in me to keep this mouse because I have those other 2 mice. However, if I didn't have either one of those mice, I would be keeping this guy for sure. I really, really enjoyed my time with it. It was a lot of fun to use. It performed super well. I had no negative things to say about it. If you're a Razer fanboy and you're looking for a fantastic first-person shooter mouse, this is it. If you're using the other Razer flagship, the Death Adder, I highly recommend you checking this one out as well because I think you're going to like this more than your Death Adder. Other than that, that's all I've got. So if you like this video, leave a like. If you've got disliked this video, leave a dislike. And of course, if you've been following my content for a while, please do hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys later. Peace out.